Clutch question for you today. Do you play for win-win for yourself, or do you often do something where you help other people win, but then you do it at your own detriment and play a win-lose? Because if that's you, you're going to want to watch today's show to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Let's do it. Your mind is a beautiful thing, but if left unattended, it can get ugly real quick. If you're not constantly curating the content your mind consumes on a daily basis, then your surroundings will dictate your daily thoughts, habits, behaviors, and actions. This show has only one goal: to leave your mind more beautiful than it was when you arrived. Welcome to the Beautiful Mind Show. Hey guys, welcome to the Beautiful Mind Show. My name is Jason Everett. If we hadn't had a chance to meet, what's up? Nice to meet you. I greet everybody like they're a homie because I think you are a homie. We just haven't had the privilege of meeting yet. Do me a favor, if you're on with me live, comment in the chat section and tell me where you are on from. I'd love to know where in the country, where in the world you are on watching the Beautiful Mind Show or listening to the Beautiful Mind Show today. I'd love to know, so do me a favor, drop it in the chat. And with me today is a very special guest. I've got a friend of mine who's one of our trainers inside some of the programs that we run and what we do. Please welcome to the show my friend and co-trainer today, Holly Fox. What's up, Holly? Glad to have you on.
Well, hey,
what's up?
Thanks for having me. I am freaking excited to be here, man. It's a good day.
You're freaking excited. And by the way, when you say frickin', I want you to know your Wisconsin shows just a little bit when you say frickin'. It's just a little twang of Wisconsin in there that comes out. So anyway, I love it. Glad to have you on. Oh, dang, I got Gordon from Zimbabwe on. I've got somebody else from Connecticut. We got Cindy Beath is on from Wisconsin. We got some more Wisconsin. She probably didn't even notice frickin' was said differently. So it's all good. But anyway, today's show, and Holly, you were just saying this. Sometimes, and I've seen people do this a lot, is that people do things where they sacrifice themselves to help others. If you can relate to this, do me a favor and comment in the chat and just say relate, right? Like, Holly, are you guilty of this one? Because I know I am. I'm for sure guilty of that.
Yeah, totally, for sure. I'm guilty as a parent, as a mom, as a business owner, like everything that I've ever done, I would totally say. Guilty as charged.
Right. Well, I mean, look, isn't the whole point of being a mom to sacrifice yourself to give to your children, or being a business owner? Isn't that the entire point? Is you're like, well, I'll be extra responsible for those people. And like, you become the business owner, you'll become hyper responsible. I think some people think that's the point, and maybe it is part of it. But if you do that forever, you're going to run out of steam. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't continue to give and not ever receive. And by the way, there is the reverse problem, which is you take too much and you never give. Can we be clear that it's like a pendulum? You can swing from one. You can be like, I am a selfish jerk that never gives to anybody. But then there's another side, which is like, I will constantly die to myself at my own detriment and create all kinds of problems in my life because I never take care of myself. Today, we're swinging the pendulum this way and say, if your propensity is to not sleep and like not take a paycheck and do all these things because you want to take care of others, this is who we're talking to today. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And it's funny because I think around the holidays, it rears its ugly head even more, like
true.
We tend to say, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And yeah.
I mean, look, the holidays are the number one time of the year for giving. I mean, I got my black Christmas tree up here today, right? Like, holidays is one of the best times of the year to be in a sacrificial giving place. And by the way, I'm a big fan of sacrificial giving. Just to be clear, this does not mean I do not like to give sacrificially, not only of my finances and of my time and all those other things, but at some point you got to ask yourself, like, where are the areas that I am not, Holly, you said right before we started, like filling up my cup. Because I actually feel, and I'll tell you guys a story. I used to do Big Brothers Big Sisters. Okay, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Do me a favor and say BBBS. That's Big Brothers Big Sisters. BBBS. If you're familiar with them, if you've never heard of them, say never in the chat. But I used to do Big Brothers Big Sisters, and when I first did it, I was like, look, I just want to give this kid and whatever. And what I realized by giving and by spending time with this kid who at the time was 8 years old, didn't have his father in his life, and I didn't want to have kids at the time, and I was like, I just want to hang out. Basically, I wanted to hang out and go do cool stuff with a young kid that we could go and have a lot of fun and like just have a blast. And I realized how much I received out of that. And I think, Holly, to your point about filling up your cup is like giving my time to him was reciprocal. Like
Yes.
I would spend time with him and like I would leave and I'm like, damn, not, and it wasn't like, did I feel good about myself? That was part of it. But like I got stuff out of it. He got stuff out of it. And it was a good win-win.
Yeah.
Right? If you guys are down for win-wins, guys, do me a favor and type in win-win. But I think there's things that people do that become win-loses. And I think this is really important when we talk about win-loses. Holly, do you have examples or can you think of something that's like a win-lose in some cases?
You mean like a win for somebody else and a lose for me?
Yeah, like where does that come up? Because I mean, donating your time or, giving to the homeless or like that might be a win-win in a lot of cases. What's an example of a win-lose that you might be trapped in?
For me, it's saying yes to everybody else when I really like, I want to stay home and I want to read a book or I want to go to yoga. But instead I'm like, oh, well, I should get something done for so-and-so, or, oh, I should go back to the salon, So instead of taking that time for like some self-love or self-care, or even turning my phone off at night, I'm like, what if somebody's got to reach me? Like, come on. Like, that's where I get it.
So that's a great point. I think that's a really good point. And Michelle, hi, Michelle. Good to have you. And Elizabeth, thank you guys so much for hanging out and being a part of this. Yeah, Michelle said it's tough being Santa to everybody. And again, you're not supposed to be Santa to everybody. Like, that's okay. And Michelle said, yeah, win-win, 90%, just being honest. And this is the thing. Holly, you said this, right? Is that if you do something and you're like, okay, I would do like a morning routine. Like I get up in the morning, I do daily gratitude and I do my morning meditation. I do some of that stuff. If I don't take care of myself in that moment and I go, you know what, I'm going to get up earlier and do something for somebody else. And I'm going to sacrifice the time that I've set aside for me to get my head on straight. This is the ripple and repercussions of that for the rest of the day. Because that's about an hour of my day every single morning that's set aside to get my mind right, get my head right, get my day started right. And if I give that up because I want to get a few more minutes of shopping on Amazon done, or I want to whatever, I'm like, well, that's how I'm going to squeeze my time into my day. And I don't take care of myself. Then for the rest of the day, excuse my language, I'm kind of a, you know what, to the people that I'm around. And my staff's like, are you okay? Like, what happened to you? And it's because I did something that I lost out on something that is critical to my care. Or let's say I stopped eating good food, or I stopped eating good food, or I stopped exercising. So I'm like, well, I'm going to get in one more Christmas shopping trip instead of my workout today. I think it's not so much about are you not doing things for other people, but it's are you giving up on the base. Elizabeth said, why you got to call me out? If you're giving up on your, Elizabeth, I love you. You're so funny. If you're giving up on your base things that take care of you as a person, you will not have enough left to give others. That's why this topic is so important today. Because in the holidays, if you literally give up on all your routines, or like, let's just give this example, Holly. Let's say you forego sleep to spend all night staying up preparing a meal for Christmas. You might be kind of a jerk all day on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And
you
then
can't enjoy it.
And then that's the win-lose, right? Because now it's impacting others. Now you're not only losing for yourself, you lost the sleep for yourself. Now everybody else is like, why is Holly super crotchety and mean and throwing things? Why did she throw potatoes in my face? What's happening? Right? I don't know if that sounds, does that sound like your Christmas? That's never happened in mine.
After Thanksgiving, I might have thrown a few things across the table.
But that's the idea, right?
Jason, come on.
Yeah, and I'd love to know from you guys, what are some other examples that you're guilty of for a win-lose scenario? A win-lose. Because if you can notice when you are playing a game for win-lose, here's the golden nugget. You can change it so it can be a win-win, usually with a small tweak. Like usually with one little subtle difference, you can create a win-win. And I think that's such an important deal, right? Is that you want to make sure that as you're working with people who are doing things every day, is like, how could this be a win-win? How could this be a win for me and a win for you? Does that make sense? Yeah, Michelle said 100% unless you were raised with Catholic guilt. Yeah, we're not talking about Catholic guilt. We're talking about, I love it. We're talking about win-win.
Michelle, I feel you on that one.
Yeah, 100%. Totally. So let's make sure we talk about this. What is that one tweak? Holly, how in your mind do you think you could do something where like I could be sacrificially giving in a way that is at my detriment? How do you make a tweak to that to say, how do we make something that's a win-win in both of those situations?
So what I have learned is to empower other people.
Mm,
So like I have started to empower my children to make those decisions for
I like
themselves.
it.
And if we're going to have, like you said, making dinner, making, doing all of that kind of stuff, they're helping. They're part of that,
Mhm,
and so that it's
mhm,
more of a group effort. But then too is like then I get that time with them. It's not me stressing out in the kitchen, peeling
mhm.
potatoes, making, mashed potatoes. It's we're having, family bonding time. We're throwing on some music. We're having a dance party. Like those are the kind of things that memories are made of, and that's what has really been a big shift for me
Yeah.
is
So
help.
so I think that's a great point. So number one, if you guys are taking notes or playing along at home, right? Is number one is like ask others to jump in and pitch in. I think there's something to be said for like, but I want to be the one seen Holly is doing all the work. I want
Yeah,
all the praise. And you're selfishly saying, I want to do this. You're saying number one is spread the wealth. Right?
yeah,
Spread the wealth and be able
absolutely.
to allow people to see that. I think that's a really good tip. I'm going to give another one. And Holly, if you think of some more, let's drop them out here. But I,
Yeah,
I think another one is set really clear boundaries around what you need to be operational. And I mean that
yeah,
in the best possible way. It's like, I know, even though I love 8 hours of sleep, that I can function on 5 hours of sleep. I know I can. I know I can function on five. Right? Some of you guys might be like, that's crazy. I would never do it. But if you're a parent, you know you got parental superpowers and 5 hours of sleep is sometimes functional. I know I
yeah,
can be functional at 5 hours of sleep. So I have a hard and fast rule. Like I will not set my alarm for giving myself less than 5 hours of sleep. I will make sure I do it. So I think tip number two is set clear boundaries for yourself and uphold your agreements to you.
hmm
Uphold your agreements to you. So for me, like I said, I have a boundary of the 5 hours of sleep. So if I want to give it up, I will not commit. I will not overcommit to something, and I will say no to things against my boundaries that allow me to get up early, get my daily meditation in, get my gratitude exercise in, get my breath work in, get the things that I want to do, so I can go. Okay, I've now got a boundary around my time. Now that does, and again, same thing is like I put a boundary around, being on my phone at home, which sometimes I screw up. Like last night, I screwed it up really bad. My wife was like, "Hello, who are you messaging right now? We're having dinner with the kids." And I was like, I broke a boundary, right? I know I broke it. I just needed to fix it. But it's like the more you enforce the boundaries for yourself, the more you will do good for taking care of yourself and taking care of others. Because I think you can't take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself. Guys, we got to take a short break. When we come back, we're talking with Holly Fox about how do you actually create more win-wins in your life instead of win-loses. And we'll take some more comments. So if you guys have other ideas about how you can create really good tools and resources to help you create more win-wins in your life, comment, and we'll talk about it when we come back from the break. We'll be right back after this short break. Be right back. Would you like to have an even more beautiful mind? Well, we'd like you to have one, and we actually created a 7-day Beautiful Minds Challenge, which is a little bit of a choose your own adventure challenge for just 7 days. And I really think you can do anything for 7 days. It's definitely not easy, but it will be simple for you to get access to it. All you have to do is comment anywhere on this video or send me a message on social media that says 7-day, and I'll send you immediate access to not only our Beautiful Minds Facebook group, but also our Beautiful Minds Challenge, where you can go through 3 different areas: your mental health, your emotional health, and your physical health, and get challenges in each of those areas that'll help you get a handle on each of those areas inside your life to give you more control over what you want to do every single day. So do me a favor, comment 7-day or send me a message on any social media, and I'll make sure I give you access to our exclusive community group as well as access to the challenge. Thanks so much, and now back to the show. Welcome back to the Beautiful Mind Show. You're here with Jason Everett and Holly Fox, and we're talking about how do you create more win-wins in your life instead of win-loses. And just as I was talking, during that commercial break, I was watching the commercial talking about the 7-day challenge, and Holly dropped out. She's like, she was calling me out. She's like, "Are you still taking cold showers or cold baths, Jason?" And I was like, "Yep, took one this morning." Like, if you guys have not done the 7-day challenge, I would encourage you guys to comment 7-day and take the 7-day challenge. There are some things in there that are self-care things that are massive.
yeah.
And we're going to talk about those. Those are coming up as the next couple tips to create win-wins for yourself. Is that if you don't have a way to do any sort of self-care habits, rituals, and routines, what you'll find is you just don't have enough energy in the tank, and you don't have enough, you don't have enough in the tank to give. And it's like, I want you to come from a place of being in an overflowing abundance mindset and mentality. Like, this might sound stupid, Holly. I don't know if it sounds stupid to you guys, but like, I want you to have so much money, it's stupid that you don't give it away. I want you to have so much love that it overflows into everything. I want you to be so damn grateful that people come up and compliment you on how grateful you are towards other people. I want you to have so much time available to you that people are like, God, it's like every time I'm with you, it's like, it feels like there's no better way than just hanging out with you to do it. Like, I want people to feel so abundant with what they have that it spills over to everyone else around them. Right. And I think sometimes if you don't feel like you have an abundance of time, an abundance of wealth, an abundance of health, an abundance of all of those things, it probably means there's some areas you get to work on, right? It probably means that you need to work on those things. And it's not bad. It just means if you don't feel like you can overflow into others, that you need to work on, how do I get more than I possibly need? And the definition of abundance is really simple. It just means having more than enough or more than you need. And this is the catch-22. We are wired to always feel like we never have enough. How messed up is that, Holly? Right? We're wired to feel like we never have enough, but the goal is to have more than what we need. Michelle, who's been chatting like a boss today, thanks for hanging around with us, Michelle. She put a really good one up here, and this is actually on my list of another one that I wanted to talk about, is the power of saying no.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
so good.
Giving of yourself abundantly doesn't mean you say yes to everything. Right? The only way you can give abundantly is you got to say no to things that are off track. And I will just say this. You got to be crystal clear about what your objective is. And that's where, like, last night I failed. I said yes to work and I said no to my family. But I was in a mode where I needed to be saying yes to my family and no to work last night. Like, if you're guilty of that one, you guys, would you do me a favor and say guilty? If you ever said no to your family when you were supposed to be saying yes to your family, is know the game that you're playing, know the place that you are, and say yes in the priorities that you're dealing with at the time. Like right now, I have to say yes to everything podcast, no to everything not podcast.
You know, Sean, or I'm sorry, Jason, what really needs to...
You work with Sean way too much. You call
I know, I'm with him way
I
too much.
became Sean. I like it. It's all good. I'll forgive you. I have an abundance of forgiveness today.
Thanks. One of the things that one of my kids told me was be where your feet are. And I say that to my younger ones all the time, like be where your feet are. Because so many times they're like, oh, I got to go do this. I got to do that. But if you are where your feet are planted, you are going to be so present with the people that you're with and not worry about anything else, and I just really think that's huge, making sure that Yeah.
I love that. Somebody type it in the chat for me. Be where your feet are. I love that. And I mean, whether you call it being present or any of the other stuff, and we call it present. We actually, and Holly, you know this because you've heard it on our team here, but we have something that we do. It's a code word that we use internally if somebody's not being present. And this can carry over to your household or something like that. And I was laughing because I was working. There's somebody that we're looking at hiring, and I was doing an interview, and she goes, "Oh my God, we have the same code word in my house." And the code word that we use here in the office is pineapple. And pineapple just means I would like to have your full undivided attention, please, and not have you be distracted. But we realize I'm kind of a jackass if I'm like, hey, Holly, could you please pay attention to me instead of texting on your phone or doing that other thing that you're doing or whatever? Like, you don't want to come off as a jerk. So if you just say like, hey, pineapple, it's kind of like a fun way to say, can I get your attention, make sure we're here? And there's no harm no foul. You're like, oh no, I'm good. I'm here. And it's just, and what I find, and this is really funny, and you might enjoy this. So this is we're number 4 now. This is the tip, right? Is create something fun to remind people when they're not present with you. Right? If they're distracted or whatever, and you want to eliminate distractions, yes, you can say it, but here's the honest truth. The honest truth is people are going to get distracted, right, Holly? Like, it's going to happen
all the time. Yeah.
Like, I know there's nothing in your life that ever competes for your attention, right? Your phone, your kids, like none of that stuff ever wants your attention.
Yeah.
So if you know that it's a possibility that you're going to get distracted, how do you, in a nice way, say, let's be present here? And when you're talking about put your feet where you are, like if you create a password or a code or a funny thing like pineapple, all of a sudden you now, what we experience is like we created this code word of pineapple. And do you know how many times we've used the word pineapple on another person? Almost 0 since we created it. And that's kind of the whole point. Like this is the secret. I hope you guys are hearing this, okay? Is that what actually happens more often than not is people call themselves out for pineappling. They call it pineappling. So there's like this extra word that got created, right? This, oh, sorry, I'm pineappling. People will say, oh, sorry, I know I'm supposed to be doing that. And they'd put their phone down and they say, sorry, I was pineappling, I'm back. And what it did is it immediately empowered our team to say, sorry, I was being distracted, I'll be present now. And it solved the problem of other people being angry that they were mad that other people were distracted.
Yeah. I've seen that in meetings before where they've done that. Oh
right.
yeah,
Our team's
totally.
like, oh, sorry, I was pineappling, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you think you could use that at home, do me a favor and say home in there, teach it to your kids, say pineapple. And by the way, like I said, it's more for you as the parent. If you're the parent, right? It's for you as a parent to be able to say, you know what, kids, I'm sorry. That was a pineapple moment. And they will love you for acknowledging that you were ignoring them. Right. I mean, I have little kids, right? Like I have, my kids are 4 and 7 and they know, like they said, hey, Dad, I don't think it's fair that you can have a phone and I don't have a phone. So if I want to be distracted, I can just do something else. Like, oh, man, talking about your 7-year-old, like punched you in the face. Right. Is that they know that you're distracted. And they honestly, a lot of times just want to have the acknowledgement from you that you understand that you're distracted and you're looking to fix it. You want to make it better. It's like an apology to other people. Right.
Well, and too, as we're talking about filling up and win-win for yourself, you're winning when you're present with your kids. You know what I mean? It's still filling you up, and really, that whole present part of it is really impactful. Well, another thing that I think is really important is scheduling when you're going to take care of yourself. I think so many times we're like, oh, I'll get to it. I'll get to it tonight. I'll get to it, and having it in your schedule to really be mindful, like I'm going to work out or I'm going to meditate or I'm going to read. I think that's another area that doing that win-win for ourselves.
Yeah.
That I've
schedule 100%. Scheduling the time is a really big one. And I want to throw out this last one before we end off here, Holly, too. Is this happens for me sometimes. A win-lose is this way. You said being present with your kids. If I'm doing something out of guilt or obligation to be present with my children. Yeah. So like, oh, I know they want time with me, so I'm playing with them, but I'm not really hanging out with them. Like I'm detached. Don't confuse your physical presence with your mental presence. Yeah. And this is how I have to manage that. I don't know if it's helpful for anybody else, but I love doing projects with my kids because then I'm not mentally distracted. There's games that they want to play, like they like to play like, I don't know, they like to play cats or something random, like to run around and pretend like they're kitty cats. These are the things that you do when you have 4-year-olds, right? And they like to go and play it. It's not really my favorite game, but like I'll play it with them for a little bit. But if I know I'm getting distracted, I need to start a project with them. So we're building a tree house, or we're like, we're creating a treasure hunt, or we're building a map, or we're writing our own comic books, and I get out paper for everybody. I write one and they write one. So I have to become really clear about when am I the most present with my children and plan for those opportunities that they like to be involved and I like to be involved. Because again, I don't want to just be like, they like it, but I hate it. That's another win-lose. It's got to be, exactly. I like it, they get the value out of it, and it's both. And so don't feel like, and again, because if I just die to myself, and I just go, I'm going to suck it up and just play kitty cats for 24 hours. Maybe, but don't use it like a martyr. Be like, well, I played kitty cats with you guys, for the last 5 hours. Now you owe me. Dad gets his own time to do whatever he wants to do. It can't be like that. You got to find a way for it to be a win-win because they enjoy projects. So we'll buy like little, we buy Lego projects and we'll build Legos, or we'll go to Home Depot or Lowe's, and they'll, I don't know if you guys know this, at Home Depot, they'll just give you, if you just ask for their little project kits, when you roll through Home Depot, they'll just give you the project kits, the little kid ones that they do. And so when they go to Home Depot, they used to hate Home Depot. Now they love Home Depot because we always leave with little project kits, and it's just an absolute win for me, win for them, and it's good all the way around. So anyway, I hope you guys have got some really good value out of today. If you did, do me a favor and comment value out of today's podcast. And if you want to figure out how you can take better care of yourself, how you can say no more often, if you want to do some of those things, make sure you get signed up for the 7-Day Beautiful Minds Challenge. There's some really good personal stretching and grow things that will come from that training if you guys want to do it. Take the 7-day challenge. If you want to have the best year you've ever had, take our 7-day challenge and set up your first 7 days, January 1st through the 7th, with what we teach you in the 7-day Beautiful Minds Challenge. Like I said, if you got value out of today, comment value. Holly, great to have you on today. I'm excited. I hope to have you back a lot of times with me on Beautiful Minds and for us to dump massive value on everybody who attends. So thank you guys so much for being here. And Holly, it was great having you on today.
Thanks so much, Jason. I enjoyed being here. It was a great way to be part of my day. So thanks.
Love it, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day and enjoy. And I hope the rest of the day you have your mind more beautiful than it was when you started. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us on today's show. If you want to get access to our 7-day Beautiful Minds Challenge, you can either comment below and just say 7-day, and I'll shoot you the information so you can get immediate access to that, or find me on any social media and just send me the message 7-day, and I'll make sure I get that out to you right away. And if you really enjoyed today's show, it would do me a huge favor if you went online, whether it was Spotify, Pandora, or iTunes, or any sort of podcast platform that you can find us on, and search for The Beautiful Minds Show, subscribe to our channel, and then make sure you give us a rating. Every time you give us a rating, it helps us get more eyeballs on our show and help more people have a more beautiful mind. Thanks again for joining us.